You're listening to William Wallace Protest Songs podcast pilot episode with Steve and me, and we are just going to talk shite for a little while.
Fueled by whiskey.
Fueled by whiskey and adrenaline. We are going to start with the topic up for discussion is who will make the first preemptive nuclear strike of World War III. Steve, what do you think of that?
Probably my arsehole after what I've had to eat today.
Are you stinking this fucking room out?
I've had a whole bowl of raw veg.
Raw veg?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's enough to drive any army out.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Yeah, so what got me into this was like Putin's doing nuclear drills. The world is at a point at the moment where it could escalate into massive war-like situations very quickly. So who's at war at the moment, Steve?
Pretty much everyone, as far as I can gather.
For what I'm aware of, Russia are at war with Ukraine. Israel are at war with all the Middle East countries, and China is making moves with Taiwan, and nobody knows what's going on. We are proxying the Ukraines, and Putin's on about doing nuclear drills. Israel have started attacking Iran.
Who we're funding. We're funding Israel.
North Korea are threatening South Korea. They're blowing up roads on the borders. North Korea's sending troops to fight for fucking Russia and Ukraine. We're funding the Ukraine wars. Israel's just smashing everybody in the Middle East. Missiles. Just crazy, crazy times, Steve. Crazy, crazy times. So where's it all going to end up? Are we going to go to World War III? What would cause World War III? Who's got nukes? Out of all them countries, as you said, that are lining up to do war with each other, who's got nukes? I think they've all got nukes. So, Russia's got nukes. America's got nukes. We've got nukes. China's got nukes. Israel's got nukes. Who else, Steve? Has got nukes.
Right, so we've got Russia at the top. We've got the United States, number 2, China, France, UK, Pakistan, India, Israel, North Korea. In total, 350 nuclear weapons. Number 1, Russia, with 6,257.
6,000?
1,500 just under actively deployed.
Yeah, that's right. So, and how many's America got?
5,550 with 1,389 actively deployed.
So that basically means that America and Russia, they could launch 1,000 nuclear weapons all at the same time.
Those two combined make up nearly 90% of the world nuclear weapons. Just those two.
They make 90%, right. And what about us? How many have we got?
We're on 1.71%.
And South Korea's, how many they got?
It's not on the list. We got North Korea with
Sorry, I meant North Korea.
North Korea is 0.38%.
Right.
This is
so
according.
I've got them.
Yeah, this is according to a website called World Population Review. I don't know anything about it.
And what about...
Basically, everyone's under 3%, apart from Russia and the US.
If Russia and America went at it, that is a civilization-ending thing.
Apocalyptic moment.
That's definitely an apocalyptic end of the world scenario. I listened to an interesting audiobook recently by Annie Jacobson. She makes a scenario for nuclear war and how it would play out, and basically the conclusion was even if a mistake was made, once the missiles start launching, there's no going back, and it gets to a point where both of them just send every single missile they've got, and that's over 1,000, and that would end a lot of society on either side. Intercontinental ballistic missile systems, you know what that is, Steve?
No, what are they?
Well, they're missiles that go incredibly fast, and they contain nuclear warheads, and once they are released and fired, I don't think you can shoot them down.
How much of these weapons do you think are deterrent, and how much will actually potentially be used?
Depends who goes first, innit? If they see a threat coming, they'll release. If they see a threat coming, they'll release. It could happen quickly. Since 1945, none have been used in an act of war, because everybody knows if it goes that way, then it will fucking end big portions of fucking humanity. Cities and fucking stuff will just be destroyed, won't it? So you're talking like millions and millions of casualties. Like if it went full on and everybody started launching theirs, the Americans and the Russians started launching all theirs, that would kill billions, wouldn't it?
I wonder if the result of the US election would in any way determine if like the US would be the first one. Who do you reckon would be more likely to use nuclear missiles, Trump or Kamala?
Oh, we're on to the fucking election now.
Well, because if we're discussing who is likely to make the first pre-emotive strike, and obviously we know it's going to be either Russia or the US, given that they have 90% of the nuclear weapons, probably.
I think Putin and Trump wouldn't let that happen, because they don't want their countries and their people to be destroyed.
I agree.
I think if that crazy woman was the president, who she might be this time next week, would you put her in charge of the red button?
Hell no.
I mean, my God, she doesn't make decisions. She's a puppet, so
Absolutely.
she would be told to make those decisions, whereas you would think Trump would make the decision on his own, as he should at the end of the day. So I reckon Trump's to be trusted with the big red button rather than the other side of America. I think what it's looking like at the moment is, in a geopolitical level, I think everybody's waiting for the results of this election. That's what it looks like to me sometimes. I think everybody's just waiting to see who wins this election, and if it goes one way, moves will be made, and if it goes another way, a different set of moves will be made. I think things could happen quickly. Things are so delicate at the moment. Say Trump doesn't win the election and China goes into Taiwan. North Korea starts fucking about with South Korea. Israel starts going heavy on Iran. And then next thing you know, is that world war? It's like, the last two world wars, is this world war going to be different though? Is it going to be like, is it going to go straight to nukes? Or is it going to be like
Cyber warfare.
Cyber warfare, that could come into it. I'm sure all these militaries, including ours and America's and Russia's and China, they've all got toys that they want to try out. Sometimes I think big wars are for trying out new military toys.
The trouble is, no one's interested in keeping peace. It's too profitable. Not for us anyway.
What I've noticed is what wars have I seen? I've seen the Iraq wars and the Afghanistan thing, and always it comes down to they try to do diplomatic peace talks before the thing kicks off, but they never work. And then once the decisions have been made to go to war, it's very hard to draw back from it. Look how many people protested the Iraq war in London. I don't know, I think there might have been 1 million people that day protesting against that war, but it didn't make a blind bit of difference, did it? I think talks of peace are futile to these crazy warmonger people. Now, what about the Israel situation? It looks to me that they seem reckless enough to possibly do it. Looks to me like Israel just, all they want to do is just smash Iran up, man. All they want to do is, they hate it, like it's always been, Israel wants to fucking attack Iran. Now, have Iran got nukes? Or they're pretty close? I don't know. Maybe they have. We don't know. I would say if anybody was going to do it, it would be Israel nuking Iran. I could see that happening, because they're crazy at the moment, man. Because they're pissed off, aren't they?
In the end, all the elites are going to be fine because they've got all their underground bunkers already ready, haven't they?
Elites.
Or the richest
bunkers.
people, I suppose.
Yeah.
That they can actually live in for the rest of their lives comfortably.
Yeah, but would that happen? Who's got underground bunkers? Is that headline?
Inside plans for Mark Zuckerberg's massive $260 million bunker on secluded Hawaiian island.
Okay. So he's got an underground bunker that's costing $250 million. Right? Do you think he knows something?
He's not the only one though, is he?
They've all got them, haven't they? Listen, if you're a billionaire, you're going to have them, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're going to have it stocked up. So they're in there, and they don't want to come out. And I don't think they would survive in those bunkers. Right, they might survive, but they might go mad. Like, imagine being in a bunker for, like, say there was like a nuclear holocaust, right, everywhere, right? And you had to stay in your bunker for 10 years before it was safe to come out. They've got enough food and stuff. Surely the survivors of the war would find out where the fuck they were and go in there and find a way in and drag the cunts out.
If they're still alive.
You know, no matter how much security they had, if there was enough people that survived and they needed that food or whatever they had in their bunker.
They would have designed the bunkers so that there would be narrow tunnels on like the entrances where they would have obviously their own security in the bunker, but they would have it so it would be physically impossible for however many people want to attack it would actually get through it, I reckon. Unless they were to sabotage sort of... well, no, because it's all self-contained underground, isn't it? There's no, like, vents going up or anything like that.
If humans are starving to survive and they know that that's there, humans will find a way to get in. They must know this.
Through machinery somehow.
Various ways. They would work it out, man. They would work it out. I don't think it's a great fail-safe for surviving a nuclear apocalypse. All right. You might survive, but then when you come out, these guys don't even know how to make a cup of tea. So how are they going to survive?
They get others to do that for them.
Yeah, but a lot can change when you're living underground in a bunker for fucking a couple of years. I don't see how it would keep them safe for the rest of their lives. I don't know. Would you have one if you were a billionaire?
If I had that amount of money,
would you do one? Would you have
probably.
one? Yeah. You say you're a billionaire. Can you sign to a programme that gets you a place in some massive underground installation? It's that movie, the one where there's a big massive climate cataclysm and they go on that ark. Is it 2012?
Haven't heard of it.
2012, yeah. Basically, they're buying a seat on... Oh, it's a big massive flood, isn't it? There might be deals out there, like, say for 100 million, you can buy a place in an underground installation for you and your family for 5 years. You know, there might be that sort of thing. I don't know. I don't live in that world. I mean, I think if it happened, I don't think it would be worth fucking hanging about to see the end product, man.
Apparently the cost of his Hawaiian fortress is less than 0.2% of his total wealth. So it's a no-brainer, really. If you got that amount of money, you might as well.
Yeah, why not? Why not? But are you just going to be there on your own? Are you just going to have your staff with you? Or
I don't know how many people it would
how many
house.
mates are you going to get in there? I can't imagine what that's like, thinking like that. See, I'm quite lucky. I live like 5 miles from a atomic weapons factory. I'm sure that would be a target. So I reckon I'd be in the epicentre. So I don't think I'd be affected by radiation. I think I'd just get killed in the outright blast.
I thought if London is nuked, I think Reading is just on the outer edge of the. There's different radiuses, isn't there, as to what the damage is, but we are pretty sure on the remaining, the outer ring, as it were.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about AWE.
Oh yeah.
And that must be a target. It's like, look at him. He's such a twat. Is he real? I mean, he just looks like just a dick, man. I don't know. I've never met the guy. Maybe he's a nice guy.
I reckon he's a lizard.
You reckon he's a robot? A lizard robot? He just doesn't seem real.
Need to look out for one of those lines around his neck.
I'm looking for girls and that. I think everything's hinging on this fucking American election at the moment, man. I think that's the bottom line, man. And at the moment we are 1 week away from that. How far away from the
Tuesday, November the 5th. So we have Yeah, 6 days.
The way I see it is to see what happens. And then depending on what happens, everybody's going to make their move. Now, I think the world is balancing on a precipice of, is it all going to go to shit, or are we going to pull it back for the brink? I can see the scenarios for World War III, but at the same time I can see a way out of it. I can see two different routes, and hopefully the right outcome will happen. And this time next year we won't be thinking so much about World War III. It's a scary thought, and I don't know where it's all going to end up. Preemptive war, it's not attacking, it's defensive. What would a preemptive nuclear strike be?
Nuclear strategy, a first strike or preemptive strike, is a preemptive surprise attack employing overwhelming force. First strike capability is a country's ability to defeat another nuclear power by destroying its arsenal to the point where the attacking country can survive the weakened retaliation while the opposing side is left unable to continue war.
Is that saying wipe out them first? Is that what I mean?
I guess wipe out their offensive capabilities.
I think it's all bollocks, because if certain things happen in certain ways in a certain order, they release everything. They release the 1,000, and Americans release 1,000, the Russians release 1,000, and when them 1,000 are released, I mean, that's the end of them two countries, man. That can't happen. But that book that I listened to was North Korea launched one, some crazy fucking random ICBM fucking nuclear warhead, and the Yanks picked it up wrong and thought it was coming from Russia, so they fucking started launching Russia. Russia started launching back, and within, I think it's something like just a few hours, both countries are almost destroyed by 1,000 nuclear weapons, and the world is in global nuclear winter. Nuclear winter is a theory that the radiation causes everything to go cold, and you can't really get out and breathe in the air for about 10 years. That's nuclear winter.
Elon Musk was talking about potentially, if you want to live on Mars, you have to drop a nuclear bomb on one of the poles. Is that the same sort of thing, I suppose?
Nuclear winter is a hypothesis. I think Carl Sagan, does Carl Sagan come up with that? That it would cause a global cooling because of the blocks of sunlight out. So it would just be freezing cold. So you couldn't live outside. You'd have to be underground to survive a nuclear winter. Most people would die. A winter, it would be destructive to all life on Earth. If it's real, if it happens, that would be what would kill most people, not being able to survive in the after effects. So it wouldn't just be the cities that were destroyed, it would be the rest of the fucking world, because it wouldn't be getting any sunshine and it would just be fucking chaos. But Mark Zuckerberg would be alright until we found out where he lived. And then once we find out where he lives, we've gone round his house.
What defence systems do countries have against nuclear missiles?
There's none. When one of these ICBMs is fired, I think you've got one chance to take it out, but I think it's not a very good chance of hitting it because it's gone so fast.
Because you'd have to take it out whilst it's still in the country that it left from, wouldn't you? Otherwise, you don't want to take it out while it's over your own country.
They go up, don't they? Into the fucking, I don't know how high they go. They go really, really high into the atmosphere, and then they come down. So I don't know what the right time would be to take it out, if it was while it was up in the air or whether it was on the way down. But if you want to understand for that book, it's pretty hard to take one out, never mind 1,000. And then you've got the submarine launch ones. Interesting thing in that book as well was, like, apparently the President of America always has a special agent near him, within 10 feet away. And he carries this thing called a nuclear football. The nuclear football, right? And it's a bag. It's shaped like I imagine it's American football or a rugby ball.
So a bit oval.
Yeah. And it's got all the codes in it, right? And apparently when the nukes are on the way and the president's going to make decisions, he pulls out this thing and he gets asked all these questions, and it's all about how many people's going to die here, how many billions are going to die here, how many millions are going to die there, how many... And he gets asked a series of questions, A, B, C, D, and then he answers the questions quickly, A, B, C, B, B, and then from those decisions that he makes, then that gets fed to the launch systems, and it's worked out that way. depending on what answers he gave in his multiple choice fucking thing. That's true, man.
Can you imagine Biden trying to coherently answer those questions?
Oh, man. Could you imagine any of them? I mean, how would that even work? To summarise, who will make the first preemptive or aggressive nuclear strike of World War III? I would go for Israel nuking Iran. Hey, that's another thing about that. Is that fucking Ukraine? Zelensky. Is it Zelensky his name? Ukraine
That's
man?
the one.
Yeah, the one that goes about asking for money
Beggar.
and fucking tanks and that. He's been running about asking for nukes. This guy's insane. So we need NATO or nukes, right? We need, this guy's fucking mental, right? Do you know how much money has he been given? Like hundreds of billions, right? America's given him hundreds of How much arms has this guy been given from all the NATO countries and America? He's been given fucking F-16 jets. He fucking crashed one. They couldn't fucking handle. Why are we giving these people, obviously, we've got to try and fight the Russians and that. But I don't understand how we could be fronting this war instead of trying to find peaceful solutions. Instead of finding peaceful solutions, they're giving him more and more weapons. And now he wants fucking nukes. Goes around the world and everybody thinks he's a hero. I think he's a very dangerous man. It's crossed my mind that he might be the Antichrist. If I was to bet on it, I would bet that Israel nukes Iran sometime soon if the election doesn't go the right way, the American election doesn't go the right way. They've already started attacking Iran, and I think they're mad for it. What I want to know is, what's the odds on Paddy Power?
I was going to say there's going to be a bet. There's bets already in place.
Because, you know, is there a treble, first goal scorer, odds? You know what I mean? What sort of combination bets have they got? I'll have a little treble on it, man. I would say at the moment it's fucking, I don't know. I reckon I could get about 20-1 on that.